Alright, I'm gonna try this again. What's up, YouTube? My name is Gabby, and I've never made a YouTube video before. And I was attempting to make a get ready with me while talking about mental health, and my phone cut me off because I didn't have enough storage. So my foundation is on, L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, and, well, most of it. I'm doing my forehead now. Anyway, so I want to talk about mental health. And I'm sure a lot of people deal with this. And Mental Health Awareness Month was last month. But I feel like it's always a good time to normalize mental health by speaking up about our personal experiences. So I'm going to talk about mine. And hopefully many people can relate. Because, it tends to feel lonely sometimes. I'm sure a lot of you people on this interweb can agree with that. Anyway, so when I was 14, I started to get anxiety, and I had my first anxiety attack at the age of 14. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was dying, and it was bad for a little while there. I never got help for it, and I thought, that was just a one-time thing. So I never really did anything about that. Kind of just let it go. And for a while there, I felt pretty okay. Like maybe I'd gotten over it. Maybe it was just a fluke, or, maybe I was just really stressed that one day. Well, I get through high school, and then when I become an adult, I moved from South Carolina to Ohio when I was 18, and I lived there basically my whole life. So it was kind of hard to move so far away from everything but I thought I handled it pretty well. I've always been a pretty independent kid, so I never really liked to rely on people. I got a job when I was 15, that type of deal, and wanted to make my own money, wanted to do good for myself, so I didn't have to rely on people, especially my parents. Although they were always very helpful, and they're still there for me today, so they're amazing, and I have a great family, but, I just wanted to be me, do what I wanted to do. So I move out at 18, and that's when things started to take a turn. And I started to get depressed, which I didn't really understand at the time, because I never experienced it, in my opinion. I never really experienced depression before in my life. So that was weird for me, and I decided to ignore it for a while, which is probably the worst thing I could have done. But that's what I did. And so it kept getting worse and worse, and I started to have more and more issues. And finally, when I was 19, I had a really serious mental breakdown. And I decided, I'm gonna go see somebody. Like, it's time. And this time I've been dating this guy for a little over a year, and he had nothing to do with my issues. I had issues separate from our relationship, basically. Anyway, so I finally go see somebody. They want to put me on meds. I'm not ready. I used to be one of those people that thinks, meds are not necessary. I should be able to fix this myself. That's what I told myself. I can handle this. I'm fully equipped to handle this myself. I don't need medication. So for a while I go on without it, and my quality of life started to deteriorate very, very quickly. So I'm kind of coasting for a while, up and downs, depressions, you know, feeling okay for a while, going into depression, feeling okay for a while. The constant cycle that I feel like many people go through, if not just myself. And I decide, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take the meds. I start taking antidepressants, and I felt a little better, a little bit better. And I thought, you know, this is working for me. I don't know what I was so afraid of. And sorry, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and bake my face since I just did my under eye concealer. It was the NYX Born to Glow. It's all right. I don't particularly like it that much, but it does the job. I'm using the Pretty Vulgar translucent powder with my giant sponge to bake under my eyes and in other areas that get oily on my face. So anyway, start taking meds. It's all right for a while. And lo and behold, things start to go south again for no particular reason. Now, this is another thing about me. I don't necessarily have triggers for my depression. Sometimes I just get depressed and I don't have a reason all the time. Sometimes something shitty happens. Cue depression, but that's not always the case. Anyway, so that happens to me for no particular reason, and then I get suicidal. Now, it's really hard to talk about. Trigger warning, I'm gonna have to put something in the description box about that, but I'd never felt suicidal before in my life until recently, until last year. And this is while I'm on antidepressants. So I'm thinking either they're not doing their job or something else is wrong. And this is where I want to say, you have to be your own advocate. I look insane right now baking, but that's the truth. You know, there are amazing mental health professionals out there. So many people who are so compassionate and so knowledgeable and will go to the ends of the earth to try and help you figure out what's wrong and try and, you know, help you live a better life. But they're not always going to diagnose you right the first time. And that's the conclusion that I end up coming to, is that I've been diagnosed, well, correctly. Was I depressed? Yes. Did I have anxiety? Also, yes. But there was something that was missing, you know? And it turns out that I have borderline personality disorder, which is kind of a big bomb to just throw out there. But I know there's a lot of people that deal with this and they don't understand what's wrong and they don't understand how to deal with it. And I'm just here to say I don't either. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure the best therapy for me. So that all goes to say, like, if you're feeling like you've been diagnosed, you're taking meds, you're doing a specific kind of therapy, just anything, and it's not working for you, it's not enough for you, you know, you don't have to live the way you're living. And if you really want to get better, you can get better. But you really have to advocate for yourself. You have to be like, you know what? I respect your professional opinion and I appreciate the help that you're trying to give me, but there's something else going on here, you know? And basically that's what I said. And we dug deeper and turns out I was right. But that's, you know, that's not always the case. But I just feel like that's something that people don't really talk about, is getting misdiagnosed with something mentally, or getting diagnosed with something, but it's not the entirety of the story. And you don't get better because you're not getting all the help you could possibly benefit from. So anyways, kind of long rant. But yeah, I'm trying to get help for that. And if there's anyone out there that's dealing with the same thing, I would love to know, and I would love to have somebody to talk to, because it gets lonely. It gets lonely in mental illness when you feel as though no one understands you, except you. And even sometimes professionals, it can feel like they don't get it either. Even though they may, you know exactly what you're talking about, it can still feel lonely. Anyway, so I'm gonna use this Cover FX palette. It's kind of like a face palette. The contour shade at the bottom, I'm gonna use that as a bronzer. This is a Sonia Kashuk contour brush. I love this brush. Anyway, I'm gonna be looking in here so I can get a good contour. But yeah, if any of you else have experienced mental illness issues since you were a kid and you still haven't figured them out in your 20s, I'm 21 now and I still struggle every day. Let me know. I just felt like I had to get this out there.